What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Midweek market updates, sealed singles and slabs between $100 and $1,000. Starting off with sealed product, OPO7 booster box, $147.50. This is actually testing the limits for OPO7. Normally, we're seeing these boxes in the 125 to 130 range. And also, before we get any deeper in the video, I do want to say there will be some cards this week that have come down a lot, which was really surprising to me, and some other cards that are still moving up. So it's kind of all over the place. A lot of interesting sales though, so stay tuned for that. Here's a lot of 13 of the OP13 Treasure Campaign promo pack cards. This one for $220.50, which when you do the math is about $17 a piece. And if you guys remember, yesterday I said you could find a lot of the lots for like $12, $13, because on TCG Player, I think they were going for like 15 bucks at the time. Today when I looked on eBay, when I was doing the research for this video, a lot of these lots were going for like 16, 17, 18, even up to $20. So I don't know if these packs are going to continue moving up and get more expensive. It's definitely something that we will keep an eye on and track over the coming weeks. Now after that, we have a box of OPO3 Pillars of Strength. Again, limit testing here, $363 on this box. It actually has a little bit of damage to the front, so not the mintiest box you're going to find either. I wouldn't be surprised if these break 400 sometime next year, maybe even go a little bit higher than that considering rotation. We also have a box of OPO5 Awakening the New Era, $415 USD. This is a fairly minty box here. Nothing really crazy. We've seen this box push into the 400s on eBay before, but it's good to see that it is consistent at this point. And then a couple more sealed products here. We have Pure BL1, and this is interesting. So this went for $455 USD. But if you look at this box, it is a 4 Asia box. Now, we've talked about these a lot on the channel, and I said that I think the North American release, you're probably going to have a small premium. If this is selling for $455, and say the North American releases are going for about $480 per box loose, that's about 95% of the value, 96%, something like that, for these 4 Asia boxes. And I think that's exactly where you're going to see them. I don't see these boxes being like 90% of the value of a North American release. I think that'd be too cheap. I also don't see them being the exact same price either. So being in that like 95, 96, maybe it even goes a little bit higher up to like 97, 98% range. I think that's fine. If you own these, I wouldn't worry about it, right? It's not going to be that big of a deal in my opinion. And then finally, we have one more sealed item here. Obviously, we have a Romance Dawn white bottom booster box. This went for $890 USD in fairly good condition. These are pushing 900 bucks at this point, guys. It's crazy. Who knows? Maybe they hit $1,000 by the end of the year. It really seems like even the white bottoms people are trying to get their hands on now, especially considering blue bottoms, pushing 3K at this point. That's going to be out of the price range for a lot of people to buy, whether they're holding it as an investment, they want to open it, they just want to have one in their sealed collection. White bottoms are going to be the next best option, so keep an eye on these moving forward. Now, we'll get into cards. We're going in ascending order. Starting off, we have Miss Boa Hancock. This is an alt art from OPO7. This went for 104 euros, which is approximately $120 USD. I really think that some of these PSA 10 alternate art cards are maybe a little bit too cheap, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying go out and buy a lot of these because I think a lot of them won't do well. There's going to be a select few, but it wouldn't surprise me if we make a video like this a year from now and an alt art like this is $200, right? And I'm not saying this one's going to double overnight, but something like this could be a reasonable play. I think the only thing that holds these back is that a lot of these alts are just cheaper. So you're going to have to be looking for people that want these in a graded copy. For most people, they might just want these for a binder, right? Like $5, $10, $15, $20 cards. So maybe you got to look for the alt arts that are a little bit more expensive than this. But either way, if you are a collector, getting a card like this for 120 bucks doesn't seem like a terrible deal, right? Considering that some cards at this point are just out of reach for most people. We also have a Nico Robin alt art here, $123.50 in a PSA 10. This is from OP12. Again, another beautiful card. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of these eventually pushed into like the 200 range, especially if the demand for One Piece picks up. We have the Tashigi Special Rare. This is from OP12 as well, $127.50 in a PSA 10. If you guys remember, there was a black label of this that sold I think like 2 or 3 weeks ago for $1,600 USD, I want to say. So crazy price difference between the Black Label and the PSA 10. We're also going to have a couple vintage cards on the list this week. Starting off, this is a Luffy 6 stage from 2000 PSA 10. This went for $150, only one bid here. You can see the PSA 10 pop is 4 and the total PSA pop is 10. So not a lot of these graded cards out there. We have a Charlotte Pudding special rare. This from OP08, $152.50 in a 10. It also came with one of those guards. I'm not sure if that's a graded guard or if it's an off-brand, whatever, but I'm sure that probably adds a little bit of value to the auction. We also have a Rosinante PSA 10. This is special rare from OP09, $152.50 here as well. We also have a Monkey D. Luffy Alt Leader. This is from OP11 and same price, $152.50 in a BGS 10. Now after that, we have a Yamato. This is from OP01. This is an alt art, went for $157.50. Ignore the title because it says Japanese. This is definitely an English card. And directly after that, we're going to have another Romance Dawn card. This is the Zoro alt art that went for the same price, $157.50 in a PSA 10. We've seen this card show up a lot of times now. It's pretty frequently making the list when we do these midweek market updates. I think it's a really cool alternate art card. Not my favorite Zoro, but it's definitely up there. It's a very interesting one. We also have the Treasure Rare Sanji. We talked about these, I think, in yesterday's video or the day before. A lot of them are coming down in price a little bit, but still in a PSA 10, $163.50 there. We have another Boa Hancock here. This is the PSA Magazine exclusive in a PSA 10, $165. Then we have the Uta. This is the special rare from OP05. Really interesting card. I kind of like this one. 151 euros, which are approximately $175. You're also going to see the Uta, I believe the Japanese manga from EBO3, because that's been out for what, 3 weeks, I think at this point. We haven't seen any of those show up. This week, there will be a couple of those cards on the list here coming up shortly. We also have another Boa Hancock here, alternate art card. This is from PRBO1. This one for $197.50. Again, I feel like this is a card that in the future, maybe it pushes like $300, $400, who knows. It's one of those solid waifu cards that also has not really a huge PSA 10 pop. I mean, 160 total pops, 177, so a fairly high gem rate, but not that high relative to a lot of other alternate art cards. And speaking of alternate arts, we have the Edward Newgate. This is from OP04, Kingdoms of Intrigue, PSA 10, $202.50 there for Whitebeard. Then we have another Boa Hancock. This is the one from EBO3. This is special rare, $202.50 raw. In English, I wouldn't be surprised if these are like $300-$400 cards out the gate. We have a Miss All Sunday here, BGS 10. This is from Wings of the Captain, $206.69. Zoro Juro, this is from OP09, special rare. This one for $217.50. Side note, I'm like halfway through the Wano arc at this point, and Zoro is an absolute menace in this arc. It's honestly great to watch. Outside of Buggy and Luffy, he's definitely one of my favorite characters in the anime. Now moving on, speaking of Luffy, we have the Gear 5 alternate art. This is from OP05, I believe. $228.50 in a PSA 10. This is showing up fairly often as well on these lists, so fairly liquid card there. Julie Bonnie, this is the special rare from, I believe, Two Legends, $232.50 in a PSA 10. And after this, we're gonna have another vintage card here. This is Crocodile and Miss All Sunday. This is in German. This is from 2006, 202 euros here, and you can see the PSA 8 pop, which this card is 1. Total pop on this card is 2. So not a lot of these cards have been graded. I imagine there's probably not a ton of them out there, especially in decent condition. And 202 euros is approximately $234 USD. Fairly interesting vintage card there. Shout out Baroque Works one time. Then we have the Zoro Gold Dawn from PRBO1, PSA 9. This one for $247.50, which is kind of low in my opinion. I could have sworn that this is still like a $390, $400 card raw. Maybe it's come down in price, but either way, I mean, I know it's a 9 and these have fairly high gem rates, so that's why like the 9s in One Piece don't sell for a ton, but you can just crack this card at this point and sell it as an earman copy and make like 150 bucks. I'm sure that's not what the person buying this is actually thinking, but either way, it's kind of just illustrating the point that this card sold fairly cheap. After that, we're gonna have the Portis D Ace. This is from OP12, I believe. This is special rare. This is actually one of my favorite special rares out there, honestly. I think the colors just work so well for Ace. $278 in a PSA 10. Very beautiful card there. I wouldn't be surprised in the future if that's worth more than 278 bucks. And then we have a Marco here. This is a promo Treasure Cup Top 64 card. This went for $315 in a PSA 10. We also have Luffy Taro, PSA 10. This is from OP11, $325 there. Another fairly expensive special rare. Then we have the Kid Official Event Top Prize card, PSA 10. This went for $350 USD through Arizona TCG. And then through ZNG Emporium, we have the Nami. This is from OPO3. Alternate art leader, $355 in a 10. Not my favorite art style of these cards from OPO3 and OPO4. I don't really jive with them. It's just my personal opinion. If you like them, that's awesome. Still fairly expensive. You're going to see a lot more Namis, or I think a couple more at least, showing up on the list this week. Now after that, again, I'm going to have to get ready to say this. We have the, if I can scroll down here, Demon Aura 9-sword style, Asura Blades drawn Dead Man's Game, PSA 10 alternate art from OP12, $360 USD. I think the last time this card showed up, it was like $315 or $330, so maybe it's continuing to move higher. It's definitely a awesome artwork, at least in my opinion. Then we have the SP Nami from OPO5, $387.87 in a PSA 10. Also saw a PSA 9 of this sell for I think like $217 or something like that. So if you are a collector and you're trying to get this card cheap, just go for the 9s. They're so much cheaper than the 10s. And honestly, it really is not that much difference in terms of card quality, at least in my opinion. We have the One Piece. This is Japanese Luffy from One Piece Day 2025. This went for $433 in a PSA 10. And here's another Nami. This is the OPO9 version raw, 361 pounds sterling. That's $474.10 approximately. That's fairly expensive for a raw copy. And you're going to see another raw waifu SP coming up here in a second that was ridiculously priced. I had no clue what was going on with some of these auctions this week. We also have the Onami. This is the special bear from OPO7, $490 in a PSA 10. Beautiful artwork. I really do enjoy this card. I think it's awesome. Now after that, we have the Shirahoshi. This is a Championship 2024 top prize card. $516 in a PSA 10. You can see here, PSA 10 pop 144, total pop 154. So very high gem rates on a lot of these promo cards. Speaking of promos, we have the Zoro. This is a 3-on-3 cup participant card. $560 in a BGS 10. And a few more here to close out the video. We have the Boa Hancock. This is the waifu card I was talking about. This is from OPO9. $585 USD raw. This isn't a graded card or anything, just the raw copy, 41 bids. I have no clue what's going on here. I could have sworn this card was like $400 a week ago, so maybe it's just blown up in price, or this auction is an outlier. I'm going to assume that this is an outlier, but I should probably go check TCG after this. Either way, very expensive sale on this card, and this probably is an all-time high that we've seen on it. And then after that, we have the Uta. This is from EBO3, so this is going to be the manga card if you guys haven't seen them yet for that set. Also, if you haven't pre-ordered EBO3, I would probably recommend buying at least a box in English. If you're building fairly large positions, it's an extra booster. I'm going to be getting a case, not telling you guys what to do, but I'm definitely planning on getting one. And this is also the special rare too, to get back to the cards. So $590 for the pair. It's not going to be a super expensive manga, but I also don't think it's going to be the cheapest one either. So there you go. After that, we have the Luffy Wanted poster. This is a PSA 10, $620. So this has actually come down a lot. I think we're almost at $1,000 for this card when it was an all-time high record sale. I think I saw another one too that sold in like the 720 range. So this is definitely the lower one over the past week. But either way, it's definitely not near its all-time high, which kind of makes sense because that card went in a PSA 10, I think from like $200 up to almost $1,000. So people are definitely taking profits. And speaking of taking profits, this Boa Hancock SP from Kingdoms of Intrigue, this was up to, I believe, $1,000. We saw exactly 4 digits sale on this card. And now in a PSA 10, it went for 921 Canadian, which is approximately $658 USD. So this one has definitely pulled back as well. And some of the other Boa Hancock SPs are actually climbing in price and might even overtake this. And I wouldn't be surprised a couple of years down the road, if I can go back and find it, this Boa Hancock here, if this one is more expensive. I think it's probably just a little bit better of an artwork, but time will tell. Now after that, we do have a Blackbeard. This is from OP12. This is the silver SP, $688 USD raw, no grade there. We also have the Japanese Nami. This is from the storage box set, and in a PSA 10, this went for $710 USD through ZNG Emporium. We also have the Monkey D. Luffy. This is the convention exclusive foil, $800 in a PSA 10. I think at one point this was going for maybe like $1,200, $1,500. So I think it has pulled back a little bit from its all-time highs. And don't get me wrong, it is a really cool card, so I think it always will have value, but I probably still wouldn't be buying it at $800. Just the run up a lot of these cards, especially a lot of these Luffy promos have gone on, probably just not the best time to be buying them. And then we have a few manga cards here to close out the video. We have the PSA 10 Silver's Rayleigh. This went for $902. Then we have the Royal Blood Trafalgar Law, $965. And then we also get the Law. This is from the PRBO1 reprint. Originally, this manga was from OPO5. This went for $970 in a BGS 10. And I think on the last week's update of the big auctions or whatever, a PSA 10 or a BGS 10 of the original went for like $2,400 or something like that, or $1,600. I can't remember exactly. Either way, there's a huge difference in price between the PRBO1 copy and the original, and that goes kind of across the board for all of the reprinted mangas. The originals are always going to have more value, but I also did have one person in the Discord today saying that they sent a card off to PSA to grade, and apparently they mislabeled it. They thought that it was the PRBO1 Zoro, and they labeled it the original Zoro. Now, I don't know if the person was just confused about which card they actually had. Maybe PSA messed up. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if there are a lot of like the original mangas out there, at least labeled the original mangas, that were PRBO1 reprints. If you have any system that involves humans, it's not going to be a perfect system. So obviously there is some human error at PSA, and that type of mistake, especially with the One Piece cards, it's something that you probably could overlook, right? Especially after a long day, maybe you're just not paying attention. I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be grading cards, so maybe I shouldn't be speculating on that, but I just figured I'd throw that out there, and you guys can let me know in the comments down below what you think, if there is a possibility of that happening at some of these companies like PSA and Beckett. But that's really all I wanted to talk about in this video. If you guys enjoyed it, if you got some value out of it, I'd really appreciate if you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. All of that helps out a ton, getting these videos pushed out to more people. We're closing in on 6,000 subs, so thank you guys so much. This channel would be nothing without your support. And also, if you are shopping, eBay, TCG Player, Hobbiesville, Cardboard Hero, I have affiliate links in the description down below. They're free and easy to use. All you have to do is click on it before you do your shopping. I'll get a small percentage of the sale at no extra cost to you. So it's a free and easy way to support me continuing to make these videos for you guys. But with that said, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you're having a great week. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.